Things just got really interesting for the New York Jets and all the rumors surrounding the team. As with changes coming, the New York Jets now have something that nobody expected on their radar, according to an insider, and we are going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if you're part of that 73% that's not subscribed to Jets Digest, is the place to be for all New York Jets content, so make sure to subscribe, or I'm going to key Matt's new car. All that being said, let's jump into the video as Matt grabs his face after his beautiful car is about to get keyed. But we all talked about this earlier. Breece Hall, his role is changing a bit with the New York Jets, as it was announced that with the new regime in place, they will be going with a three-man running back system, a running back by committee group. And well, Breece Hall did not seem too thrilled about this, posting on Twitter a monkey smoking a cigarette, looking at his phone, upset. So clearly Breece Hall was not very thrilled about this, and NFL insider Rich Cimini informed the world of something that no one was really considering with the New York Jets that the new regime has looked into. So now, diving into that, it was mentioned that Breece Hall is a gifted player who would attract interest if dangled in trade talks. Perhaps the Jets would consider moving him if Boise State star Ashton Jeanty is available with the 7th pick in the April 24th draft on day one. Now, it's almost a guarantee that Ashton Jeanty is going to get picked in the first round. Usually running backs, there's usually one in the first round most times, and then once in a while a generational guy comes along and, well, he gets brought up by multiple different teams, and teams decide to draft him. And, well, some people think it's a bad idea to draft running backs in round one, and two of them are sitting here. And on top of that, with the Jets having this running back system, nobody expected this to be the case, Matt.
Yeah, so if we're talking about drafting running backs in the first round, Ashton Jeanty is one of two running backs who you could sell me on. The other one being Saquon Barkley. Whether, the Giants were right to draft him at 2. I personally think they were right to draft him at 2, but a lot of people will contest me on that, and I won't fight them back too hard because I do think drafting a position that's more important in the first round is the way to go. However, talking about Breece Hall and Ashton Jeanty, if Breece Hall was to get moved, I still think with our holes that we have in our roster at right tackle and tight end, I would rather take Tyler Warren or Armand Membo over Ashton Jeanty, because why would we trade away Breece Hall to open up a new hole when we could be filling one of the other holes that we have? I don't understand why we would pick up a third hole on the offense when we also could even use a receiver at that spot. So I personally don't think that makes a ton of sense. I also think, looking at what Breece Hall tweeted out, I think it might be him just being a little bit exacerbated. Just he's a little bit getting tired of these trade talks, doesn't want to hear it. He just wants to play football, just wants to get back on the field and get back to building on what was looking like a really successful career after 2 seasons. Then he had that one. It was a down season by his standards, still a pretty solid season. He's a really good running back. I think he just wants to get back on track. I think maybe we're overblowing this situation a little bit, like talking about how he's going to have a diminished role. Yes, he is not going to be the bell cow running back anymore, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to have a ton of touches. We look at David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs with the Detroit Lions. A lot of people thought that Jahmyr Gibbs was not going to see a ton of touches because he was going to be behind David Montgomery. And if you look at the depth chart, according to the Detroit Lions themselves, they considered David Montgomery to be the starting running back all the way up until when he got injured late in the season. Jahmyr Gibbs, as talented as he was still the backup behind David Montgomery. And but he still got a ton of touches. So even if Breece Hall, even if they're going to be using the more running backs, he's still going to get a ton of touches. I'm not worried about that. Now, talking about drafting the running back in the first round, I don't even think Ashton Jeanty is going to be available when the New York Jets are on the board at 7. We just watched the last really, really high-end running back, Bijan Robinson. He was expected to be drafted. I saw a lot of mocks having him to the Ravens, to other teams in the low 20s and high teens. I think it was like 18 was one of those teams looking at Jeanty in mock drafts. And then he got pushed all the way up to pick 8 on draft night. I think Ashton Jeanty's a better prospect than Bijan Robinson is. So I really think Ashton Jeanty is going to go even higher than Bijan went, as crazy as that sounds. Some people are not high on the top of this draft class, and Ashton Jeanty, no one will fight you when you say he's a blue chip prospect. So he's someone who deserves to go high no matter what position he's playing. Now, DraftKings actually has his most likely team, the shortest odds for Ashton Jeanty to be the Raiders at pick 6, one spot before the New York Jets are picking. We know they just picked up Pete Carroll, from who was currently retired or previously retired, but before that, the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. Who did he have on the Seattle Seahawks? He had Marshawn Lynch. And after Marshawn Lynch, he had Chris Carson, drafted Rashad Penny in the first round. Carroll wants to run the football a ton, and they are definitely going to be looking at Ashton Jeanty. So it's a possibility that he's not even available for the New York Jets when they come up on the board at 7. Ignoring the odds for a second, just what I really think it makes all the sense in the world for the Raiders, a suffering offense who last season we watched them try out Zamir White and just have no success at all in the run game. Coming in with a run-heavy offensive head coach, I really think they're going to take Ashton Jeanty, and this decision will be already made for the New York Jets come draft night.
I agree. I do think they are going to take Jeanty. I don't think he's going to be around when the New York Jets are selecting. But it is interesting just to look at where everything's at. Breece Hall being upset. And, well, Breece Hall, he has put up good numbers, as you mentioned. Last year was a down year for him, but not necessarily a bad season by a running back. 876 yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground, a few more receiving-wise. So, still a solid season for sure by Breece Hall, who did miss a game. The prior season was his best full year, as when he was a rookie. He was playing really well, but ended up tearing the ACL. So, he very well can still be a great running back in the NFL, and he has been a great running back in the NFL these past 3 years. There's no doubt about it. You said it in the last video, and you're right. He's a tier 2 running back. He's not Christian McCaffrey. He's not Saquon Barkley, but he's in the grouping right after that. So it would be weird to see the Jets create a hole and then instantly fill it on draft night unless they really don't believe in any of the prospects outside of Jeanty. And maybe that is the case. I mean, there's a lot to like with Ashton Jeanty's game. I mean, had 374 attempts for 2,601 yards in 3 years of college football. He had, in one of these seasons, he had 156 attempts, so it's not like he was leading like the next 2 years in his conference, but 4,769 yards, 7 yards per attempt last year, 2 years in a row, led his conference in rush yards. In one of those seasons, he only had 12 games played compared to the 14 this year. However, it doesn't matter because in 14 games played this past season, he doubled what he had the year prior. Ashton Jeanty's absolutely absurd. There's no way around it. We know he's going to be great. It's really a can't-miss guy with Ashton Jeanty, so it makes sense why there's going to be a bunch of teams looking for him. I just think with where the New York Jets stand, it does make sense why they'd look to trade Breece Hall because of the contract extension situation, which Skinny brought up, saying that Hall is among a handful of players for a contract extension with the Jets, most notably cornerback Sauce Gardner and wide receiver Garrett Wilson, both drafted the same year as Breece Hall. It will be difficult to keep them all around long term. It depends on the money that's going to get paid to all three of these guys. Now, Sauce Gardner is likely going to be some average annual value between 31 and 33 million per year is my guess. And then Garrett Wilson is going to be somewhere between the average annual value of 25 to 30. So that's going to be a good chunk of money right there, given they're both, I mean, arguably the Jets' 2 best players.
Yeah, it's that simple. So we got contracts coming up. So, and don't forget, we just signed Jamie Sherwood to a contract extension as well. So that's another contract that's going to be hitting our books here. Year. Quincy Williams, another great pull there. And we're still paying Quinnen Williams. And, right now we're not paying a quarterback a ton of money, but unless we can draft one, we're going to have contract space open down the line to, I guess, sign a quarterback if people don't want to see one drafted. So we're going to have that, got to get that hole filled as well. The question is, you only have so much cap space. Do you want to use that cap space on a running back? Well, yes, he's really good. Like we said before, we do think his production is mostly replaceable. We think you can find 3 guys in the later rounds and make up about 90% of what Breece Hall's production is at like a tenth of the price. So we do think what he does is replaceable. And the way you do it, you don't draft one guy that can do everything Breece Hall can do because that's going to be pretty expensive. It's going to cost a first or second or third round draft pick. What you want to do is you want to go later in the draft and you get your guy like Braylon Allen, who can be that guy on the goal line. You want a receiving speed back, someone who could hit home runs. We don't really have a guy like that on the roster at running back, but think like a Justice Hill type player, guy who can catch the ball and make home runs. And then just another all-around really good back, someone like an Isaiah Davis type, just someone who's tough to bring down, got good hands, so he can catch the ball. But he's still able to fast enough to make guys miss in the hole. If you can get 3 guys like that, run them in a committee, run them so they can stay fresh. You don't run any one running back into the ground too hard. That's how you can replace Breece Hall while not paying as much as Breece Hall would be worth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if the Jets decide to do that move, it does make some sense in regards to all the contract extensions coming up. But it is something we're going to have to wait and see on. Guys, if you want Ashton Jeanty, comment down below why you think the New York Jets should draft him. If you don't want the Jets to do that, let us know that. What should the Jets do with Breece Hall? Should they keep him around because he's a great player? Should they move on because maybe they're paying too many guys extensions and he's going to have to be the odd man out? Let us know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. We're so close to...
And we also forgot Jermaine Johnson's contract extension.
Jermaine Johnson's contract extension is coming up, and that'll be based off how he comes back off that injury. But we could talk about that in another video. So, guys, if you want to see that, make sure to subscribe down below. All that stuff that makes everyone happy and fills our day full of joy and Matt's car safe from my keys. Guys, have a great day and go Jets.